All right, guys, we are back. Serie A preview this time. Hopefully, I'm going to get to finishing the EPL preview show as well later today. We have two EPL games tomorrow. Last stream was the UCL stream, and we actually did pretty good on it. I think we ended up around plus 4.5 units both days of UCL this week. And then I cannot believe I said I was going to round robin first half draws. Ended up round robining something else. And 8 out of 9 first half draws hit. Ridiculous. So anybody that watched the stream on YouTube, congrats, because they know at least one guy tailed it, and a little jealous, not gonna lie. So anyway, streaming this to my VIP Twitter and YouTube as well. So thanks everybody, anybody on YouTube, thank you guys. And all I'm gonna do here is Serie A is the only league I have my picks for the weekend already locked in for. And Serie A show on BetUS already had that today. So basically, I'm just going to go on betus.com, run down the games, kind of what I feel for them. What's up, Luke? Thanks for joining the chat so soon. Thank you, sir. So we're just going to get into it. One game in Serie A tomorrow, and it is this Salernitana versus Lecce game. Really interesting here because I don't know if Salernitana can win a game. We have one win and 5 draws in their last 6. Team total over 1.5. It seems like they just play up or down to their competition. This game kind of screams 0-0 just because they're so due for a 0-0 game. We saw so many 0-0s with Salernitana at home last year. And I think they're due. They probably are due for one here. Even a 1-1 I could see. Both teams' scores kind of tempting. This over 2.5 is not tempting at all. What I really like for this game is very simple. -1 corner for Salernitana. This is probably going to be my biggest play the whole weekend. I don't like the total number of corners at 9.5 or 10. I would pass on that. But I really like Salernitana at -1 corner. They had covered the corner spread in 12 straight home games, and it actually missed in their last one against Empoli. And the only reason it missed is because Empoli got 5 straight corners in the 10th minute. They knocked out 5 corners in like 80 or 90 seconds, which was absolutely ridiculous. Empoli ended that game with 7 corners, 5 of those coming within 80 seconds. And Salernitana had 6. So I'm jumping back on this week. Really good price. It was -110 earlier. It looks like it dropped down to -110. I see -0.5 at like -160 on Bovada, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd rather play this -1. Much better odds here. So I like that. That's what I'm going for in that game. And next game on the board is going to be no action from me. Bologna versus Empoli. Actually, surprisingly, me saying this, I think Bologna team total over 1.5 would be a decent play in this game. Empoli should probably go shot for shot with them. Empoli really is just a straight up draw team. Draw is at plus 260. I don't like this plus 0.5 at -135. If you're going to take that plus 0.5 at -135, you might as well play draw. I don't think they're going to win this game. Bologna, on the other hand, I absolutely hate this team. They are just disgusting and atrocious to watch. I never hated a team more than I hate them. Over under at 2.5, it's going to be dependent on Empoli actually scoring in this game. So that's a pass for me. Very hard pass, actually. Next game on the board, I actually like, unfortunately, Spezia for Sampdoria. Spezia at home have looked pretty good. On the road, they are 0-3, and for good reason. If off the top of my head, I believe they played Napoli, Inter, and Juventus on the road. Might not have been Juventus, but it might have been like AC Milan or something. Very good competition that they have played against on the road. So the road numbers, absolutely horrible. Their numbers at home, actually pretty good, expecting 1.3 something goal. I kind of like this team total over 1.5 at plus 150. This does kind of seem like a game where Sampdoria could get points out of. Seems like kind of like a backdoor game for them. I don't mind the Spezia draw no bet at -115. Sampdoria at the bottom of the table right now, and for good reason. Losing 4-0 on the road against Salernitana. They shouldn't be plus 175 against anybody. They should probably be closer to plus 220 in this game, but I'm still not going to bite on Spezia. This is either Spezia to score in a parlay or pass straight up for me, except on corners. Extremely good corner price here. We have Pick'em at -135 for Spezia. I'm seeing this at -155 at -0.5 on Bovada. So we're getting half a corner here. Basically, we're getting this at a Pick'em spread. and it's better odds. So I really like that. I'm definitely using BetUS for these plays, and I have no affiliation with BetUS other than doing the Serie A show there. Genuinely, these prices, at least this round, are much better on BetUS. So I'd recommend if at least line shopping. If most of you guys probably use more than one book, I would definitely line shop for these plays, especially so far ahead of the game. Most of these games are going to be Saturday or Sunday. Anyhow, Sampdoria have lost every single corner spread on the road. They've actually lost every single corner battle except for week 1 against Atalanta, where they beat Atalanta on the corner spread 3-2. So not a very lopsided defeat. Only getting 3 corners is pretty sad, to be honest. But I think Spezia, I'm targeting these 3-5-2 formations right now. You got Verona running it. We've been hitting all year. You got Salernitana that runs it. You have Spezia that run it. Juventus actually came and ran this in a Champions League game in round 1. But they ended up dropping into a 4-3-3. So they didn't actually run it if you go and pull that up for whatever reason. I think Inter actually did that in their first Champions League match last week as well in the group stage. So anyways, I am targeting this. I haven't played Spezia all year. I'm going to take them on the corner spread at PK. I think it's a pretty good look. Torino Sassuolo, very interesting matchup here. Torino burned me a couple times. A half win last week. It gave up a late goal in a game they should have won. So that plus 1.25 was a half win. Unfortunately, they're headed back home this time against a really crappy Sassuolo team who made some horrible substitutions and gave up just ridiculous goals to Udinese in the last 10 minutes of the game, giving up 3 in the last 10 minutes, which also killed my under 3. Still can't believe that lost. Anyhow, I'm interested in Torino first half. I think Torino first half is very playable. Probably going to end up being a pass for me, but it's plus 130, minus 135 to score in the first half. I don't really disagree with it. Same price as first half over 1. Don't think Sassuolo score in the first half. Torino, 100% clean sheets in the first half at home this season. Obviously, not much data to support that. But Torino are a team that you will see them put up a lot of shots really early in the game when they play at home, and it's either pretty much all or nothing. If they don't score in the first half, there's a good chance that they're not going to score in the game. So I think that's why I think first half is going to be better value than full game at minus 120. Sassuolo always liable to get a red card, so I think full game is very playable as well. I am going to pass on this. I think Torino team total at minus 125. I think you're better off taking money line because this easily could end 1-0. Got a good defense, have a good midfield. They tend to make a couple mistakes a game, and last game, one mistake cost them a goal. They played so well. Literally made one mistake and it cost them the game. So I am going to pass on that. Sassuolo kind of on my blacklist right now anyhow. Lazio Cremonese. I was actually not surprised to see everybody take Lazio versus Midtjylland today. I knew that was a trap price. Me and Tim were talking about that last night. And I still thought they had a chance to win, especially because Midtjylland just have not been playing well. They ended up losing that game like 5-1, just completely blown out. Lazio are not the same team on the road as they are at home. And that's what everybody just needs to pound into their head. Did not play a single Lazio game on the road last season, and I do not intend on doing so this season as well. Complete pass from me. Should Lazio win this game at minus 125? Absolutely. Will they win this game at minus 125? Probably not. Will they score twice? That is much better look than for them to win this game. Don't have a lot of faith in Cremonese. Don't think they're a very good team. However, Lazio on the road, it's just you cannot play them on the road. You can't trust them on the road. Next up, we have Fiorentina versus Verona, and I sent this morning a lean on Besiktas money line plus 170 against Fiorentina, and I wish I would have played it myself. Ended up just leaving it as a lean, and Fiorentina get blown out 3-0 by Turkish side Besiktas and Europa today. So really embarrassing for them. How I grade Fiorentina right now is D- on offense and an A-, maybe an A on defense. I actually think their defense is playing great in Serie A this season. The interesting thing is they have the same number of goals as Verona this season, and Verona's defense is complete Swiss cheese. Verona have a terrible defense. The thing that Verona is very good at is creating pressure. And I feel like these two teams should go shot for shot. And I think Verona, honestly, could probably convert more chances than Fiorentina will be able to. With that being said, 5 of the last 6 head-to-heads have ended 1-1. Last season, the last time these two teams played, we actually played draw both games last season. Both of those hit. Correct score 1-1 is going to be plus 600. I don't think that's a good value shot. I'm going to play draw straight up here. I think this could end 0-0. I think some of these, I think Verona is probably due for a 0-0 at some point. Maybe it's this game, maybe it's not, but I think draw, it's at a good enough number at plus 290 for me to play that instead of a correct score here. So that's what I'm going to run with. If you don't want to play draw and you want to go for a little bit more value, I would just play 1-1. I think 1-1 is a great look, and I think that's the most likely score line for this game. I like the under 2.5, and I definitely like Fiorentina not to score twice at plus 100. I kind of feel like that's a steal here. And Henry, what's up, buddy? Almost the Udinese game. I think we're getting there. We're just running down these one at a time. Oh, anyhow, Verona cards is going to be a good play. Verona Fiorentina. I don't know what that number is going to be set out. I don't even know if BetUS has card props. I always take those on Bovada. As far as the corner spread, plus 2.5 for Fiorentina, very favorable. Over 9.5 has been hitting all season for them. Believe it missed last week because Lazio had 3. I think that number finished exactly on 8. So that would be a pass for me. So other than draw, I am passing on that. Now, maybe the game of the week here, we have Milan versus Napoli. Away team has won this fixture or tied in 7 straight games. Napoli is the away team this week. I think you could toss Napoli +1 with Atalanta +1 in a parlay and do pretty well. I don't think either of those teams lose outright. I could see draw. I could see Napoli winning. Typically head-to-head in both of those fixtures. I know we haven't gotten to that Atlanta-Roma fixture yet, but typically head-to-head, these games are pretty low scoring, so I do think that team total over 1.5 is priced pretty fairly. I think the value is actually going to be on both teams to score no. But I would either go for draw or I would go for Napoli in that one. But as of right now, I'm passing. No Osimhen in the lineup for Napoli again, so that's a pass. Now, maybe the most interesting game on this slate is going to be Monza versus Juventus. This honestly might be the most interesting game because all season we've been saying Juventus -1 is a trap. Juventus -1 is a trap. Juventus money line is a trap. And they have looked like dog shit for the last 5-6 games. Completely looked like trash. I think this is a fantastic spot for Juventus. I haven't played them all season. I played them one game this season. I'm ready to fire on them now. Been fading them in Champions League. I did take both teams to score versus PSG, and then I had Benfica to score in a parlay yesterday. Eli, I see you in the chat. Atalanta is next. I will get to that. I think those are some interesting looks you were mentioning. Anyhow, Juventus versus Monza here. I'm actually going to click on this. We're going to go to alt lines for this game. Juventus -1, plus 150 in this game. Look, there's no reason Juventus should lose this game. All season, their prices have been traps. This is the first time all season I do not think this is a trap. And this is the last game before they're taking an international break. If Juventus win this game, they're still not even going to be in 5th place. They really need to win this game. And they don't have a Champions League game midweek next week, obviously, because an international break is coming after this round. So this is a perfect spot for them, and I will be playing -1 for Juventus this week. Not even going to eat juice on -120. We're just going straight up for the kill shot at plus 150. I think Juventus is due for some goals. I think this is a great spot to back them in, which is also very ironic considering that I have not backed them really at all, maybe except for once this whole entire season. So now I'm going to get into what Eli was talking about, this Roma versus Atalanta game. It's very, very cagey affair that we should have here. In my opinion, this is going to be my favorite game to watch on the entire board in all of Europe this week. I think Roma and Atalanta are two very, very quality teams. At the beginning of the season, we took Atalanta to finish in the top 4 at plus 200, okay? My only reasoning for that was because they don't have Champions League. They don't have Europa League. They don't have Europa Conference League. We always see a tired Atlanta team playing, and they always drop points in the middle of the season and the end of the season. They're not tired. Roma is a team that has been underperforming and have looked tired. They're playing a lot of games right now. Dybala actually rested the entire first half today, and luckily for them, HJK got a red card, and they just demolished them in the second half, 1-3-0. So with that said, I think these are two very underperforming teams. And the numbers, Eli, I'm going to put your what you set up real quick. So the numbers for this are interesting, right? Because at Atlanta haven't conceded an away goal yet. And typically at Atlanta do play better on the road than they do at home. And they might be the only team in the world I will say that for. Roma, on the other hand, haven't conceded a home goal as well. So I think this is a very weird matchup because the expected goals on the road for Atlanta 1.34 against and 1.4 against for Roma. So I think we should see some regression to the mean here and at least see both teams score. I think both teams will score. Very decent look in this game. Now, where it gets interesting is like, okay, if you're going to back a team, who are you going to back? To me, I would prefer to back at Atlanta, one, because they're on the road. I like them much more on the road, first off. Secondly, here is they have a full week's rest. Last game before the international break, they have nothing to lose here. They should go out and get 3 points. Roma, on the other hand, going to be pretty tired, obviously. Midweek match this week, midweek match last week. It doesn't seem like they've been performing as well as we've all thought they should have up to this point. So I would give a slight edge to Atlanta at this. I don't think these numbers are reflective on home and away. Cards, yes, we see a lot of cards in these head-to-heads. I don't have the numbers pulled up in front of me. Also, don't have a card line yet. So I do think that is an interesting look, Henry. So good eye there. I don't think that's a bad look at all, and I'll have to get into that more once I actually get a line for it. Now, with that said, I said this earlier, but I think you could play at Atlanta +1 and Napoli +1, and I think you would make cake this weekend. I don't think either of those teams lose, but +1 cushion there. You might want to add another parlay piece in there, maybe a first half over 0.5 somewhere, maybe for this Udinese Inter game. I have to do a little bit more research before I decide what game, just in case one of those legs do push. But even parlaying at +0.5 instead of eating juice on that -135 for Atlanta or that -140 for Napoli, I think you're solid. I don't think that's a bad look. Even if you played for half a unit, you're going to be getting great value on that. So that's kind of how I lean in this game. And I am curious because I don't know off the top of my head. We're going to pull up this Atlanta draw no bet. It's another option you could have with this game if you really wanted to, at least. PK +150 for Atlanta. You could also play draw. Flash is playing draw in this game. You could play draw, and you could also double down by taking Atlanta draw no bet +150. So obviously, you would want to play this PK a little higher units than the draw if you do that, because if it draws, then your PK pushes and your draw would cash. But if your PK hits, that means your draw loses. So you would have to stagger that a little bit, make sure you cover your bases there. But I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I think those are the Napoli game and the Atalanta game are two very interesting games this weekend. And last one here is going to be Udinese versus Inter Milan. So I actually just going to pull up all the numbers for this game because make it a little bit easier. Udinese have been the most surprising team in Serie A so far this season. I'm going to be honest. They won the game against Fiorentina last week, 3-1. I don't even think they looked very good in that game. They did beat Roma 4-0. They looked fantastic in that game. I'm sorry. They beat – I'm losing my – can't even remember. They either beat Sassuolo or Fiorentina last week. Believe it was Sassuolo. Anyhow, Udinese here, money line +295. It is a little bit surprising. I think Udinese has been pretty much undervalued all season, and the books, I guess, waiting for them to regress, or nobody is betting on Udinese. And so they're kind of just sitting on it, waiting for, putting the lines where people are betting. So this is an interesting fixture because Inter have not lived up to expectations thus far this year. They haven't been bad, but they haven't been the Inter that we saw last season. Now, this is interesting, and I'm going to have to pull this up. You're going to have to give me a sec because I want to pull up Inter's first half split so far this year. All right. Here we go. Honestly, I think you could get away with this bet. 2 out of 3 first halves for Inter saw on the road so far this season saw them concede. The one game they didn't concede in the first half on the road was against Lecce, but they gave up a goal in the 48th minute. With that said, they actually scored the first goal in 2 out of those 3 games. And for Udinese, I am curious what their first half splits so far this season have been. Same numbers, 2 out of 3. So if you want to get technical, first half team total does grade out at 67% with a pretty small sample size. So let's go check this out. First half over 1, minus 155. Don't disagree. First half team total, just like you said, at plus 130. I think that's a pretty good bet. I think that's probably going to be better than double chance in this game, even though double chance minus 105. I don't really feel like fading Inter here. If they had a midweek match coming up, I would feel a little bit better. I like fading these teams that have to play on the weekend and then go back and play in the middle of the week. But this being the last game before the international break, I would feel more comfortable just taking Udinese, either first half team total or full game team total. What was interesting last game to me, it doesn't really back any play, just kind of some thoughts I had on the game. What was really interesting is that Udinese went down early against Sassuolo. They didn't score before halftime. Sassuolo get a red card. Udinese didn't have a shot in the second half up a man until the 80th minute. And then they scored, 3 times in the last 10 minutes of the game. So, I mean, they're definitely converting their chances, but will they be able to score 3 or 4 goals on Inter like they did against Sassuolo and Roma? I would say that it's highly unlikely that they are able to do that 3 times. This total at 3 is kind of interesting. I think both teams to score over 2.5 would be a decent look. I haven't taken anything for this game yet. I think both teams to score minus 180. That's pretty fair. I don't disagree with that. Both teams scoring over 2.5 at minus 105. I probably like that a little bit better than Udinese plus a half just because I don't see this ending 1-1. Yeah, and it definitely depends what Inter shows up because, I mean, we've seen so many different versions of this team so far this season. And they've been squeaking out wins in Serie A. 1-0 win against Torino in a game they should have lost last week. Beat up on a couple bad teams, 3-0 against Spezia, 3-1 against Cremonese. Good losses, I guess you could argue. I mean, they lost the Milan Derby to AC Milan. They gave up 3 goals in that game. They also gave up 3 goals to Lazio at Lazio. And then they gave up that 1 goal to Lecce and barely won that game. So they've been finding ways to win games, but they've been playing a lot of tight games. I think the value is on Udinese first half team total. That would be my lean for that. I totally agree with you. You want to get a little bit risky here, maybe go with Udinese to win the first half or first half both teams to score. And I am curious. I'm not sure if they have that on here or not. Let's see if they have it. First 10-minute result. I'm not going to lie. This Udinese first 10-minute result at plus 750 is actually not that bad. And the reason being is because last season, actually, I have these numbers pulled up. I can actually give them to you instead of just trying to go off the top of my head. Udinese scored so many goals last season in the first 10 minutes at home. It was actually a ridiculous amount. Okay, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 home games last year they scored in the first 10 minutes. And out of how many games? I think it was like 16 or something. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 7 out of 19 games they actually scored in the first 10 minutes. So I don't think that's a horrible play, although I'm not going to go for it. I think if you want to get a little bit dicey there, I think you could go for that. Now, as far as corners go for this game, I'm not very big on inner corners. They have been good for Udinese so far this season. Inter probably going to win the corner battle in this game. We've seen 10, 10, and 12 for Udinese at home so far this season. They had 6. It was 6-6 against Salernitana. They lost the corner battle to Fiorentina and Roma, both 7-3. On the flip side for Inter, they always do very well on corners. 6-5 against Torino, 5-2 against Milan, 6-6 against Cremonese, 4-2 against Lazio, 10-4 against Spezia, 8-6 against Lecce. Now you kind of have my wheels turning a little bit here. So let's go back to the corners for this game. -1 corner at -120. It's going to be a pretty good price. The only thing I will say is that the numbers I just read off probably going to be a little bit skewed just because Udinese have been beating up on everybody so bad. That'd be my only thought. Let's see how many they finished that Sassuolo game with, actually, even though they were on the road in that game. 5-6. They only had 2 up a man in the second half, which is kind of surprising. So the over-under in that game is at 10, minus 110. I feel like I'd rather go for Inter -1 in that one, but the over 10, definitely playable. So anyways, that's it. Trying to get back with EPL later today if I have time. It might be late tonight. It might just be a rewatch stream. But anyhow, thanks, guys. Thanks, Henry, Eli, hopping in the chat. Luke, thank you, boys. Anyways, good luck if anybody plays NFL tonight. I may end up playing something, may not. So got to lock in and see if there's anything else. Anyhow, thanks, guys.